All right, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to look at this problem, okay? And I want you to ask, I know we've learned the process is add 1 on both sides, right? We've learned that process. But right now, I just want you to say in your head, I take 1 away from some number. And at the end of that process, I have nothing left. What must the original number have been? It had to be 1, right? Now, think about this one for a second. Think about the number line, okay? Right? That number line. That was me modeling the number line. We take 1 away from some number, which would be like jumping to the left 1 on the number line, and now we're at -2. So where do we have to be? -1. Precisely. Now, let's make sure that works. This is the algebra part. There are some people looking at me like, do you think we don't understand this? Or here's what I'm saying. Yes, there are some people that don't understand this.
Hey, what happened?
Now, -2 plus 1 is -1.
Wow.
Please make sure that when you're doing the work, that what number you come up with makes sense if you can tell yourself a story about it. You know, if I had -$1 in the bank account, T, and I spent $1, then I'd have -$2 in the bank account. Make sense? Okay. All right. What I'm trying to get at here is people are getting bogged down with the writing out the steps part, and they're coming up with answers that don't make sense. So just make sure that even if you do the algebra, make sure your answer makes sense. Okay, here's another one that has been confusing some folks. So now think about it this way. Instead of saying, okay, I subtract 8 on both sides and then divide everything by -1. Just think about this for a minute. You have $8 in the bank account. You spend some money. Now you have -$3. You're overdrafted by $3. How much money did you spend? Huh? 11, right? Yeah, you spent the 8 that you had and 3 that you didn't have. You see? So what happened here is 8 and 3 added together. So let's see what happened. Let's see. We think the answer is 11, just using our brains. But now let's show that work by subtracting 8 from both sides. And you have -x equals, now -3 minus 8 is -11. Okay. So here's the algebra again. You have 2 options here. You can either multiply or divide by -1. Okay. But this is what you have to show. If we multiply both sides by -1, the negative times the negative is a positive. -11 times -1 is +11. And so this part seems to be confusing some people, but you can play this game in your head and get the answer, okay? Folks at home, can you see this clearly?
Yes, sir.
All right. I won't keep you too much longer before we start this. Okay, here's what I need you all to think. I need you all to think that there's a 1 there. It's important. Okay, because you need to multiply by the reciprocal. By the way, what is 4 divided by 2? 2. Now, even before you think about that, I want you to think about this. Some number is cut in half, like a tree, and 2 is the remaining value. So how big did the tree used to be? 4, right? It was twice as big. What if I cut a tree into 5 pieces, and after I cut it into 5 pieces, each piece was 10 feet long? Right? It's 50. Okay, now you know this is pretty easy to think like that. Now put a 1 there and multiply both sides by that reciprocal, okay? So again, this is what's confusing folks is, I don't know how to say it, like the writing part, I guess. Well, good news. Cancel, cancel. And then we just have x by itself equal to 10 times 5, okay, which is 50. All right? So you were right, okay? So please, in this problem set, let your intuition guide you. Last thing, we have m plus 1.7 equals 0.3. Okay, this one you can't do in your head. Well, some of you can do it in your head, but what you need to do is you need to subtract 1.7 from both sides. Okay, Aubrey, can you go see Miss Dennison? Is she coming to the office? Okay. Does she need her backpack? Okay. All right. So here we cancel out that and we have m equals. Now, why can't we just subtract 1.7 from 0.3? What's the problem? The number on the bottom has a bigger magnitude than the number on the top. The absolute value of negative 1.7 is 1.7. That's bigger than 0.3. So what we really need to do over in side work is do this. We need to do 1.7 minus 0.3, but then we need to make our answer negative, okay? So 7 minus 3. 4. 1 minus nothing, 1. So m is negative 1.4. Okay? Remember, just flip it. Multiply by the reciprocal, okay? Go ahead and start working on this.